A brand new electric family car is about to storm into America and Europe, and it could flip the entire auto market upside down. This is the Arcfox T1, China's budget EV that's already shaking the industry at home. And if it really lands in the West in 2026, companies like Toyota and Volkswagen should be very, very worried. Because here's the kicker, this isn't some stripped-down bargain box. It's stylish, it's packed with tech, and it makes today's so-called affordable cars look outdated. But the real question isn't just whether you'd buy one, it's whether the West is even ready for what's coming. Hit that subscribe button now, because what you're about to see could completely change the way you think about cars. At first glance, the Arkfox T1 doesn't exactly scream budget car. Honestly, if I didn't tell you the price, you'd probably throw out a guess like 25 grand, maybe even 30. This thing doesn't look like some cheap econo box you pick up just to get from A to B. It actually looks legit. We're talking about a sleek hatchback that measures 4.3 meters long with a 2.77 meter wheelbase. For my American friends, that puts it right in Volkswagen Golf territory. Yep, a Golf. Only this one isn't draining your savings or locking you into a 5-year finance plan. Now let's break down the design. Up front, you've got BAIC's new ArcFlow design language, basically smooth, flowing lines that give it a premium sculpted look. The headlights? Full LED setup, connected by a sharp light bar that runs straight across the nose. At night, it looks futuristic, almost like something out of Tron. And for a car this cheap, that's wild. The front bumper isn't boring either. Instead of looking flat and plasticky, it's got a sporty lower grille, clean air intakes, and these little accents that make it look more athletic. It's the kind of front end that makes you double take when it pulls up behind you at a stoplight. Move to the side and you'll notice something you usually only see on higher-end cars, a floating roof design. The blacked-out pillars give the illusion that the roof is just hovering, and it makes the whole silhouette way more stylish. Add in some sharp body lines running down the doors and some aerodynamic shaping, and this thing actually looks upscale. Oh, and let's not forget about the wheels. You're getting chunky, multi-spoke alloys that fill the arches nicely, not those sad little Stevies most budget cars settle for. Now spin around to the back, and this is where it gets really fun. You've got a spoiler that honestly looks like it was stolen from a Tesla Model Y. I mean, come on, a budget car rocking Tesla vibes? That's almost insulting to anyone paying $600 a month on a crossover lease. The taillights are just as bold, full-width LED strip across the hatch, wrapping into the corners, giving it that modern premium vibe. And the bumper is sculpted instead of boxy, so the rear doesn't look cheap or unfinished like you'd expect at this price. So let's be real here. On looks alone, the Arkfox T1 doesn't belong in the bargain bin. It belongs in the serious competitor bin. Because when a car this affordable looks this sharp, that's when Toyota, Volkswagen, and yeah, maybe even Tesla start sweating in their boardrooms. And hey, if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It really helps us keep bringing you the latest on crazy cars like this one. But here's the kicker. If you think the outside looks impressive for a so-called budget EV, just wait until you see what's hiding inside. Step inside the Arkfox T1, and here's where your brain short circuits. This is supposed to be a $9,000 car because, trust me, nothing about it looks or feels like one. Right up front, boom, a massive 15-inch central touchscreen that looks ripped straight out of a Tesla. And yes, it works. This isn't some laggy fake tech flex you'd expect in a cheap import. Pair that with a full digital driver's display, and suddenly you're not in a budget hatchback. You're in something that feels more Silicon Valley. But it doesn't stop there. Soft touch materials, ambient lighting, panoramic sunroof, and seats that actually want you to sit in them. Meanwhile, here in the States, we're still paying $25K for crossovers with cloth seats, no sunroof, and an infotainment screen the size of an iPad mini. And rear passengers? They're not forgotten. Tons of legroom, charging ports, and enough space for kids, teens, or even your mother-in-law who swore she'd never ride in a Chinese car. Guess what, Karen? Now she won't get out. This is where American and European automakers start sweating, because the Arkfox T1 just proved cheap doesn't mean have to be basic. And hey, if you're into discovering the wildest new Chinese cars heading for the US and Europe, smash that subscribe button. Trust me, the next one will blow your mind. Now here's where things get almost unfair. The Arcfox T1 isn't just a budget EV for students with no luggage, it's a legit family car. At 4.3 meters long and a 2.77 meter wheelbase, it's sitting in compact family territory. Translation, it's roomy enough for kids, a dog, and that Costco trip you swore would be just a few items. Pop the trunk, you're looking at golf-level cargo. Fold the seats flat, boom, IKEA run handled. And because it's an EV, that flat floor means everyone actually gets legroom. So yeah, the kids will still fight, but not over space. Families get wide-opening doors for those back-breaking toddler seats, tons of cabin storage for snacks and toys, and rear seats that adults can actually sit in. Try cramming into the back of some under 20K compacts in the US. It feels like punishment. In this, it feels like BAIC actually cared. So yeah, the Arkfox T1 isn't just a commuter box, it's a straight-up family mover. And the fact that it costs less than a used Corolla, that's where jaws start hitting the floor. But here's the million-dollar question. Would you actually trust your kids in a $9,000 car? That's where most people start sweating, because safety is where the story takes a turn. Let's crack open what's under the hood next. Alright, let's talk about what makes this little budget wonder actually move. The Arkfox T1 isn't some glorified golf cart. It packs a legit 100 kilowatt or 134 horsepower electric motor with enough punch to keep up with city traffic and even highway runs without sweating bullets. Torque delivery? Instant, like any EV. Top speed? About 150 kilometers per hour or 93 miles per hour. Not a Tesla Plaid, but under 10 grand, it's way more than you'd expect. And range? Depending on the battery pack you choose, you're looking at 180 to 300 miles on a charge. For a family compact at this price point, that's jaw-dropping. Plus, fast charging gets you from 30% to 80% in under 35 minutes, just enough time to grab a coffee and get back on the road. Now, here's where things really get interesting. Safety. Because let's be real, most people hear cheap Chinese EV and immediately think death trap. But Arkfox isn't playing that game. You get 6 airbags, ABS, electronic stability control, lane departure warning, and even adaptive cruise control. Features you normally don't see until you're dropping 30 to 40K on a mainstream brand. Add in ISOFIX mounts for child seats, a reinforced passenger cell, and a full suite of parking sensors and cameras, and suddenly this little budget EV starts looking a lot more serious. Oh, and get this, the Arkfox T1 scored decently in Chinese NCAP crash tests. No tin can vibes here. The structure is engineered by BAIC, a company with real global partnerships, and Huawei's software side handles much of the driver's assistance tech. So, would you trust a family in a Chinese EV? Honestly, with these numbers, the answer might surprise you. The Arkfox T1 proves you don't need to spend luxury money to get safety tech that keeps up with the big boys. Now here's where the Arkfox T1 really flexes. It's not just the big stuff like range or screens, it's the little details that make you double take. First off, the steering wheel isn't some cheap plastic hoop. It's flat-bottomed, leather-wrapped, and comes with multi-function controls that feel premium. Even some 25K cars don't even bother with that. The ambient lighting? Fully customizable with multiple colors, perfect for setting the vibe whether you're driving to work or sneaking off for late-night ice cream runs. Charging your phone? Forget cables. You get a wireless charging pad, plus USB-C ports front and back so no one's fighting over juice. And check this, the T1 even comes with a keyless entry and push-button start system. No twisting old-school keys here. The seats, not only are they cushy with contrast stitching, but the driver gets power adjustment, again, in a $9,000 car. Meanwhile, my buddy's 30K crossover still makes him crank a lever. Even the trunk has thoughtful touches, a hidden storage compartment under the floor for your charging cables, groceries, or the snacks you promised not to eat in the car. It's all these small touches that scream this isn't a budget car pretending to be nice. It's a legit effort to over-deliver at every angle. Hit that subscribe button real quick, because the price tag on this car is so insane you're going to want to replay this part twice. Alright, you've waited enough. Let's talk numbers. The Arkfox T1 isn't $30,000. It isn't $20,000. Heck, it's not even $15,000. This car, with its sleek design, big tech, real family space, and a fully electric powertrain, is launching in China for around $9,000. $9,000. That's less than a used Corolla with 120,000 miles. And yet, this then comes with a warranty, seats 5, and has a Tesla-style touchscreen. If that doesn't flip the table for Toyota, Volkswagen, and yeah, maybe even Tesla, I don't know what will. But here's the twist. Will the West even allow it? Safety regulations, tariffs, dealer networks, reliability questions, these are the roadblocks standing between the Arkfox T1 and your driveway. Because sure, it looks amazing on paper, but imagine a 9,000 EV actually hitting US showrooms. Do you think Ford, GM, or even Tesla would just stand by and let that happen? Or would they fight tooth and nail to keep it out? That's the million-dollar question, and I want you in the comments. Would you trust a 9,000 Chinese EV for your family? Or would you rather stick with your old Toyota?